So today we're going to start talking about perceptual set. Just as a reminder, if I covered it, perceptual set is when we use information over and over again that our brain doesn't process it. We use perceptual set. We demonstrate perceptual set when we look at Ames' room. When we talk about Ames' room, we look at the image of Dr. Zimbardo, who's that guy in that picture, in that little video clip, and we assume the room is a normal room. So when he's walking up, it's so visually jarring, like what is happening. He's drawing unimaginably because of perceptual set. So when we look at Ames' room, it's always about perceptual set. We make certain assumptions, and Ames' room demonstrates that our assumptions are wrong. And that's what the big part of that experiment is. The reason why we have perceptual sets or perceptual expectancy is so our brain can focus on information we're not necessarily that's new or things that vary. That way we don't have to go into a room and say, wow, 4 walls. And then we can process the information. We can just make the assumptions of how things work in order to make it easier for our brain. Now, when I talk about top-down and bottom-up processing, I'm going to start with bottom-up processing first. All right. Who here has ever read a book who has ever had a child read a book to them? Yes, it is awful. Can we agree? No, it's not. It's not cute. No one. It's so not cute. If you've ever had a little kid read you a book, and I'm talking about a little kid who's just learning how to read, it is the most painful, excruciating. Your ears start bleeding because it's so awful. Okay. Yeah, you do. You do want my girl. She was mean to me at the beginning, and now she's nice to me and using my content. All right. So when you read to a little kid, this is how it sounds like. Okay. The cat smells is the sentence I'm reading. The cat cat smells. Whatever. Okay? When a little kid is learning how to read, they have to pronounce every single sound, then they tie it together. Cat is how it's broken down. They pronounce every single sound of every single letter, and then they tie it together. That is bottom-up processing. It is when you look at the details, take all that information, and then put it together in the end. A perfect example is if you ever did a puzzle, but you never looked at the image of the puzzle. You just dumped it out of the box. No one told you what the image was, and you just started piecing it together, and you had to try to figure out what it is as you made it. Okay? That is bottom-up processing. You have very little pieces of information. You're trying to figure out what it is. It's also Wheel of Fortune.
You sort of know them because they have categories.
Yes, I know, but you still don't know. And you have the letters go up, and you still have to figure it out. Wheel of Fortune is a good example. You get small pieces of information, and then you're taking that small piece of information in order to come up with a collective. Okay? Now, you and I, thank God, don't read like this. Could you imagine trying to do AP Lang, AP Lit? Now, you may not be the greatest reader, but you don't read like that. Thank God. Okay? Now, all of us in this room use top-down processing. Now, top-down processing is when our brain doesn't spend the time or waste the energy reading words like the, when, because, and anymore, because our brain knows the language well enough that we can kind of skip it. As soon as we start seeing it says the word B-E-C and it makes sense in our head that the word's because, we move on. Okay? Have you ever noticed that the more you read a novel, you read it faster as you go? It's not because the content gets the plot thickens so fast that it's so exciting. You're also getting used to the writer's style and how they use words, and that allows you to predict much faster so you can actually read faster. When you are doing top-down processing, which even if you're not a great reader, you're using it to a degree at this point. Obviously, you're really, really great readers. Anyone here consider themselves a really fast reader? Okay, I am a really fast reader. My brain, you may not think I'm the brightest person in the world. I'm actually pretty smart. I look like an idiot most days because I want to make sure you learn your content. It's easier to learn it if you have like a funny image to remember it. That's how I remember things. I think really, really fast. I'm talking to you about this, and I'm already starting to think about the next thing I'm going to do. Reading is the same thing. It's one of the things I'm strongest in. I'm constantly thinking of the next thing, which is why sometimes I say the wrong thing, because my brain's going too fast. Okay?
I'm the opposite problem.
Huh?
I'm the opposite.
Your brain's going too slow? Not many people say that. I like that. I don't think I've ever had it.
It's true. I'm so slow. It's like I'm like slow, but when I get it, I get it really well.
There you go. So you're bottom up. You're bottom up. You got
I
to get
don't
all the
read
details.
Like that, but like,
No, I'm not saying you read like that, but you need all the information first, and then you can get to the top.
Yeah.
See, how I think, and definitely how Simone thinks, is she thinks big picture, and then she worries about the details as she goes. Not that you miss the details, but you have to understand the big concepts, and then you get it. True, not true, Simone?
I guess so.
Yes, that's you to a T. A T. Very intense T, but a T.
What's an example of that?
So for me, I'm going to post a picture of this paragraph thing that you can read it without, the words are wrong in between. They're totally wrong words, but you can still read it. You've seen it before.
When
That's
they do the numbers too.
yeah, they add things and you don't even notice it until someone points it out because your brain just kind of assumes and makes it for you. That's top-down processing. If you look at a picture of a puzzle and then you put all the pieces together and you start from the middle and you go all the way out kind of thing, that's top-down processing. For instance, I'm hosting Thanksgiving at my house, and I've already figured out what people are bringing. Like in my head, I came up with a quick menu, and I already know my mom's doing this, my brother's doing this, and then I'll worry about the details like my place settings, my place cards, where I'm going to put stuff and stuff like that. But I've already got the big stuff done, and then I'll worry about the details later. Another example would be, what would be another thing when you think big picture and then you go small?
well, like if you know a general topic of something, it's like you know, since there's like subtopics of things, there's like science, and then you have like all these different kinds of science, and then within those science, there's more different little pieces.
Kind of, yeah.
Isn't it like building blocks that kind of just like down? Is it just
Kind of. Okay, so if you're going to solve world hunger, for instance, and you're doing top-down processing, okay, what that means is you go straight to the UN, and the UN then says, okay, every single country has to do this. And then inside every single country, the leader of that country gives this job to every single person, one person every single state. And in that state, that governor is then going to give that responsibility to one person in every single county within that state. And then in that county, that one person is then going to create food drives, do all that to solve world hunger. Does that make sense? That's a top-down. It's a big idea, it's an abstract idea, and then eventually the work actually gets done at the bottom. Bottom-up processing is, Carson does a service project here in Tampa, Florida about trying to eradicate the food problems here in Tampa. His service project is so damn good, people in Pasco County and Hernando County start copying it. Then all of a sudden, everyone in Florida, every county is doing it. Then Georgia and Alabama are like, damn, Carson, we're going to do it too. So all of a sudden, his service project is now in Alabama and Georgia. And then all of a sudden, it's all throughout the United States. And then all of a sudden, England, France, Germany are doing it. And then all of a sudden, it's now a UN mandate. Damn.
It's like
Nice job.
starting
So Carson's going to save the world and get a Nobel
Yeah.
Peace Prize. You can go to any college you want then.
So
Right?
I'm going to make these UN mandate if everyone's already doing
Wait,
I was trying to start it.
it.
can you like change the way? Can you like decide? Oh, I want to be like a top-down processor, or does
No.
it just happen?
You're just how your brain works. I'm a big picture person.
What is
I don't
it
care
like-
about the details. The details will work themselves out. I don't care. I need to do the big picture stuff.
Can you be like both?
You know
and specific different things.
Well, if you're going to do a project, do you come up with the idea and the big stuff, or are you sitting there grinding it out?
What
do you mean?
That's like
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 'Cause I'm like trying to figure out like what personally I am. But like if I take like things, like I can't understand a specific concept if I don't have all the pieces. I just
Okay,
can't.
so you're bottom up.
But then when I think of a project, I still think like a big picture.
Yeah, but are you good at that? Which one are you better at?
This is the opening sentence
If the idea of coming up with a project based on one big theme stresses you out, then you are bottom-up processing. If the idea of starting with a theme and then coming up with a project sounds good to you, like, okay, I gotta solve world hunger.
Like specific.
That's what I like, and then I can kind of make it my own
Yes.
way. Instead of having a project that I have to do and then make this help other people, that would be bottom-up processing. It's okay. You use both. You use both every single day. All right, here we go. So, what is this?
A rat.
Oh, it's a rat.
Okay, so what happened in
Or
this?
head.
Oh, yes.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay, so it was just like everyone's talking about animals, and then you're like, it's a head. Okay, so.
It's a bird.
Yeah, it's a person.
I don't know. It's like a shoot.
Oh my God, all of you are dreadful. I mean that with love, but it's kind of hard. Here we go. First thing you looked at was probably these two circles, correct? You looked at them, you had to make a decision about them. Okay, you can either go, they kind of look like glasses, or they look like two circles. Then you look over here. If you went with the kind of glasses thing, then all of a sudden you saw a nose. Okay, if you were like, I don't really know, you saw this and you're like, oh my God, it kind of looks strange. And then you saw this and you're like, oh my God, it has to be a rat. Okay, that's bottom-up processing. When you look at the individual pieces of something in order to derive what the whole is. Okay, when you solve a murder case, you look at the individual pieces and then try to come up with the connections between it. Like,
Unless you already have a suspect in mind and you're trying to make it like fit the
oh my
person.
God, Simone. Some days. This is one of those days. Okay, so when you solving a murder case, you look at all the pieces and then try to go. Sure.
Is this one of those that has like two pictures in, or is there only a mouse?
It's a mouse.
Okay.
It's used in a very famous example to show bottom-up processing as well as perceptual set to show that if you see a bunch of animals ahead of it, then what are you going to see? But if I show you a bunch of faces and then I show this picture, what are you going to see? There you go. So it's a very famous example. It shows you perceptual set and also bottom-up processing.
Where's the bird?
I don't know. Some people see crazy things.
I just saw it.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, it's cute.
Okay, this is a perfect example of top-down processing.
That's closure.
It is closure. Okay, it is also top-down processing because if you just look at this circle right here, can you tell what it is?
It's like an arrow.
No, just from
Can you look at the big? Do you know what the whole image holds if you look right here?
No.
However, you have to look at all of it, and then that's when you see the image of the block. This is top-down processing. You have to look at everything in order to decipher meaning. Its meaning. If you look at art, okay, if you're taking AP art history, we run or have, art is super, super complex. It has so many layers to it and so many meanings and stuff like that. If you look at just a piece of a painting, like a small corner section of a painting, are you going to derive anything out of it? No, you won't derive a damn thing out of it. Okay? Well, you have to look at the whole piece in order to derive understanding. That's top-down processing. All right. Here is an impossible figure. It's called the Devil's Trident. I don't really like this one. I have a better version of it. Okay? Why is it an impossible figure? You can raise your hand and tell me why is it an impossible figure. Lee.
Because over there, top doesn't really connect, or does connect. It's not supposed to.
Okay? The longer you look at it and the more you look at it, you see things start moving around. It gives me a headache. I have a better one.
I don't get it.
You don't get it? Here.
Neither.
This is also a Devil's Trident.
Makes me.
You can't tell.
I hate that triangle thing.
Because that's like
Nice.
lips. I get it.
It's an impossible figure. When we talk about impossible figures, it means it cannot exist in real life. This cannot be made. Because, do we know why? Okay, because this is the actual frame. Okay, and it changes too. It's awful. Oh, I hate this. Okay? It cannot actually exist. Like, this is nothing, but then it's something. It can't be nothing and something at the same time. That's just
I like
how
the
it's
elephant that like has so many feet. Have you seen that picture?
Yeah, that's an impossible figure as well. Okay. And then you have this one. This one's really trippy.
Yeah, it is.
This one's going up and down, but then all of it's down. It's just
There's a game. There's like an app. It's like a really
Yeah,
cool
that's
game.
really fun.
It's like one.
Oh, I hate this
Is
crap.
it
No.
Manu Nine?
Okay. Is this an impossible figure? Yes or no? Hold on. If it is, write on your board yes. If it's not, no. Is it an impossible figure or is it not an impossible figure? Impossible figure means it can or cannot be built. Now remember, I like tricking you, so don't take that out of consideration here. Like a couple images like this. Is it impossible? No, you cannot write I don't know.
So is it impossible? That's the question.
Is it impossible or possible?
Oh.
Possible or impossible? What is it, Hannah?
Impossible.
Why is it impossible?
Because that one
Here,
in
do you
the
want to
middle.
point it out?
Yeah, the one in the middle, it's like supposed to be in the back, but then it connects to the front.
Back,
Oh.
And
I see it.
there's
Front.
one next to it also.
front, back,
Yeah.
back, front. There's also another big thing which I didn't even notice until today. One of my kids pointed out. This one is going this way. This one looks like they're going in two separate ways. Instead of both going in the same direction. This looks like it's jetting out. This is going that way.
Oh.
Okay, it's an impossible. Okay, now the reason why we do impossible figures is that it's important to understand that our brain is trying to process information in the way that we expect it, in our perceptual set. Okay? Have we seen buildings that look like this and paintings and stuff like that actually could exist? This is an impossible figure, but could it exist? If it wasn't like with the twisting and stuff like that. Because we don't live in a world with a ton of exceptions. Okay? You can't have a building and then walk in and then it collapse. This is not, what's that stupid movie? Inception. This is not Inception. Okay? It's not a stupid movie, does that offend you? It's a good movie, but it's not a real movie. Okay? Or is it a real movie? Is the, I'm just kidding. I don't care. I didn't mean it. Okay, so when we talk about it, our brain is trying to process it. If we see something that looks like it could be a real structure, our brain assumes it is a real structure. This shows us the error in our thinking patterns and our own perceptions. Okay, this one just freaks me out.
So unnatural. Oh, whoa.
It's just weird.
It's like it just.
Just creepy.
Oh, no.
Try curling that.
Alright, here you go, Simone. This is for you. Alright, extrasensory. You have one question on this stuff on your test tomorrow. Alright, extrasensory perception is the claim that perception that occurs with the use of normal sensory channels such as sight, hearing, touch, taste, or smell. These are people who say they can talk to the dead, they have extra sensations, they can do all these different types of things. Is it number 5?
Number 6.
Where's that? Page 6.
There you go.
Number back.
Number 5. Alright, so the first one is telepathy. Now, how I remember telepathy is that if I pick up a telephone, I talk to someone else. Telepathy is when you're able to read other people's minds. Okay? So if I had a superpower, I'd want to fly. If I had 2 superpowers, I'd want to be able to read people's minds.
That's like the worst thing.
What else would you want to do?
Control time and weather.
It says why are they wrong?
Why weather? Teleport. You look adorable in little rain boots. How bad could it be?
Controlling weather is so cool. Imagine it just snowed in Florida. Like, what the heck?
No, that would destroy everything. It's not supposed to happen.
Okay, controlling time. Well, not like back and forth, just like pausing.
Oh, yes.
Pausing time.
Yeah.
Pausing time.
Yeah.
They could get really old and everything split.
No, you wouldn't
But
get
just
a-
leave
No,
it
but
pause
the
and
time-
time.
No, the time doesn't move.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you're looking around the time, you keep aging.
Wait, theoretically, it was great.
No, you're
That's
not
great.
aging.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that would be good. Because to have something means to lose something else. Everything balances.
I want to
Isn't that
It's like the movie Click.
Oh, that happened in Wizards of
Yeah.
Oz.
Yeah.
Alright. So telepathy, you can talk to other people. Clairvoyance is the supposed ability to see things that are not actually present. These are your ghost people.
So like the medium person is not true.
No, she's a complete champ. So the Long Island one has been shown that she's a complete champ so many times.
Really?
People like
Yeah.
cry on that show.
I love her.
That's a good show.
I
Okay.
never believed.
The only one, the Hollywood medium. The Hollywood. Have you seen the Hollywood
Yeah.
one? That one. He's
I don't know,
obviously.
he's
I
always
don't
like-
believe in
He
this stuff.
sweats so much when he's doing it because he's like focused or whatever. He's like sweats.
Maybe
like,
he's just a
dripping
sweaty
down his
kid.
face. I'm like, what are you?
So, and he, I think, is a little harder. But with the Long Island lady, everyone knows that she sends people to that town before to collect information.
Doesn't he like he doesn't even know where he's going before he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what theoretically he says. I don't really know. I don't really believe in this stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's no signs proving that it does, despite what Simone believes. He's an incredibly rational person who's so uncomfortable that you would ride or die on this. And then you have precognition, which means you can predict something from happening. That's your final destination. Like, would you really want to know when you died?
Yeah.
No.
I wouldn't want to know.
No.
Moses
No,
knew.
that's
Actually, I don't know. I go back and forth. I would.
Your parents would be so proud of you.
My parents
You're
are
just like
religious.
They aren't?
Well, I mean, they're like Jewish. I went to Jewish school though, so I'm way more religious than
What if
they
you then died
are. The only reason they said it is like
you
actually
figured
learn,
it out
like,
and
be able to
you
read Hebrew.
decided you don't want to go to school.
Like I'm way more religious than the rest of them. Most people just don't want to do that.
I just think you can't screw it.
But they'd be so proud of you.
Yeah.
Like the little Jew.
My grandma.
Huh?
My grandma, because I'm like way more like religious. I don't even know right now.
So I had a bunch of
But-
Jewish friends up in Massachusetts.
Get it? In Boston. Are you from Boston?
Like
Oh, it's
3/4 of my
huge.
school was Jewish.
Huh?
Like 3/4 of the school was Jewish. I was in upstate New York.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna be here next Monday, by the way.
Nice.
Or next.
So glad you know.
I don't know. Some teachers like
Not okay.
Okay.
I don't. But that's fine. It'll be fine. We'll make it work. Study of ESP ghosts and other objects that do not formally fall in the realm. My brother believes in this stuff. And I'm not allowed to make fun of him because it makes him cranky and that makes my mom mad. And I don't like making my mom sad. So every time we go somewhere as a family, which thank God it's not that much, my brother looked up 5 different haunted places in Santa Barbara that he wanted us to go visit.
This is like hard.
I'm not going into a dirty, abandoned building to go stand around for nothing to happen. Like, you've got to be kidding.
That's why you sit around for something to happen.
Do you watch scary movies?
No, I don't, because that stuff freaks me out.
Yeah, that's what I
I
thought.
don't do it. No, thank you.
Yeah, he's scary.
I don't think so.
Do you believe in Ouija boards?
No.
Well, those things.
The new example for that? I cannot even watch the horror show. It's so scary.
Oh my god. And we're good. Alright, so I've officially finished content with you.
Wait,
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
We still
Can you go back?
I know.
all these